Hello, it's John Heaton, and this evening I'm going to review a new compilation album called The Art of McCartney by various artists. 34 tracks on it, and when I saw it in the shop at the weekend I was quite excited by the track listing because there's a lot of big names on here and a lot of interesting track selection. So I've listened to it all the way through just the twice, so this is not necessarily the final verdict, but it is a mixed bag. Some tracks are great, some tracks are not so great. So I'll go through all of them. I'm not going to give them a mark out of 10 because if you took this album to Mars, say, and played it to the Martians, I mean, they're all good tracks and it's hard to ruin a great track. It's just that in some cases it either adds nothing to the original or it's frankly not a very good version. But anyway, so starting off with Billy Joel, who I'm a pretty big fan of, he tries Maybe I'm Amazed, which is a very difficult song to sing if you've ever tried it. It's in a very high key, and even Paul himself struggles to sing it these days. Billy Joel, the first line starts off okay, but then he starts shouting pretty quickly or screaming it in an attempt to hit the notes, and it doesn't really work for me. I mean, it's a great track, but yeah. What can I say? So Things We Said Today, very interesting choice by Bob Dylan. I mean, his voice is a little croaky these days, as we know, but it's quite a heartwarming rendition of this song, quite charming. He chose this track. In most cases, the producer, Ralph Sal, chose the track for the artist, but in this case, Bob chose it completely for himself. Band on the Run by Heart. It's quite a nice version. I think the female vocalists on this album work pretty well on the whole. It's got McCartney's live band on this track, and on this track it's okay because the female vocalists give it some difference and distance it from the original, but on some of the other tracks on this album, McCartney's live band is making it a little too similar to the original. But this is a decent version. Junior's Farm by Steve Miller, brilliant version, excellent. Really makes it sound like a Steve Miller record. And this is probably as good as the original. I'm not going to say better, but it's very good indeed. Long and Winding Road by Cat Stevens. Nice version. I don't like the way he goes down on the Many Times I've Been Alone bit. But other than that, it's a good version. My Love by Harry Connick Jr. doesn't do much for me, I'm afraid. Wanderlust by Brian Wilson. Nice obscure selection from Tug of War. A great version, great harmonies. Brian Wilson, genius as we all know. Good version. Bluebird by Corinne Bailey Rae. This is a great version. Great version. She also did the version of Blackbird at the concert at the White House. Yesterday by Willie Nelson. One of the best tracks on the album. It really is a great, really touching version. Check this out. Junk by Jeff Lynne. Another good selection of an obscure, relatively obscure track from the first solo album. And he does a really nice job. Well done, Jeff. Barry Gibb chooses When I'm 64 and does a nice fun version of that song. It's one of those songs where it hasn't been overplayed over the years, doesn't get played on the radio, and there haven't been too many cover versions of it that I'm aware of anyway, so it's nice to hear it. It's a good version. Every Night by James Cullum, one of my favourite McCartney tracks ever, and he does a really nice version and tries some piano on it, which is interesting. This is a little bit hard to believe when you first read the track listing. Venus and Mars Rock Show by Kiss, but it works really well. Really nice version, pretty faithful to the original, but a really nice rocking version of this, and I really like artists who choose a relatively obscure track. You know, I don't really ever want hear another version of Eleanor Rigby ever again, or Hey Jude either, really. Let It Be. But these Wings tracks, they deserve being rediscovered, so I'm glad that Kiss chose this one. Paul Rodgers, decent version of Let Me Roll It, nothing special. Again, McCartney's live band makes it sound pretty identical to McCartney's recent live versions. Helter Skelter by Roger Daltrey, well, he does a decent enough attempt to sing it, but a bit of a pointless cover, really. Def Leppard, really nice version of Helen Wheels, really nice version. I think this is as good as the original, I'll say that. Not better, but as good. Hello Goodbye by The Cure, a good track because The Cure are playing all the instruments, so it's completely different from, well, not only the Beatles' original, but how it would sound with Paul playing it live. I think it's really well played. Jason Cooper, decent drums. The fills in the middle, the Ringo fills, I don't think they can be that easy to play, but he pulls it off effortlessly. And I think the coda is really well played as well, so hats off to The Cure for Hello Goodbye, and Paul's son James is on this track as well, playing keyboards. By the way, the DVD included in here is 90 minutes long, and it's pretty decent. The only thing I'll say is it includes a couple of tracks which don't actually appear on the album. And then I found out that 7 tracks which are not on this album, and you have to buy them. You have to buy on Amazon. If you buy it on Amazon, you get 2 bonus tracks. If you buy it on Target, you get 2 bonus tracks exclusive to that. And on Best Buy, you get 1. I mean, what the hell is going on? If you buy the deluxe version in the shops, you should get everything, surely. I just don't understand it. So I'm not going to review Sea Moon, Can't Buy Me Love, P.S. I Love You by Ronnie Spector. Sorry, Sea Moon was by Robert Smith, Can't Buy Me Love, Booker T. Jones. All My Loving, Darling Love, For No One, Ian McCulloch, Put It There, Peter Bjorn and John. Run Devil Run by Wanda Jackson. I'm not going to review them because they're not on this bloody album, which I think is ridiculous. And there's one more bonus track, Smile Away by Alice Cooper. Not on this album. Very disappointing. So, moving on to disc 2, what is on this album, Live and Let Die by Billy Joel. Better version of this one, more within his vocal range, although it's still pretty high. One to sing, he pulls this one off. Let It Be by Chrissie Hynde. Very odd phrasing in her vocals. I know a few other reviewers have noted this. Larry Graves, on the other hand, was not bothered by it. I guess it's a matter of taste, but it basically sounded like she's got hiccups while she's singing it. It's very strange. Check it out. I think she could have sung it nicely because there's nothing wrong with her voice. It's very weird, the phrasing, and it's very off-putting. Plus the fact I don't really need to hear another version of Let It Be. So, there are some tracks I think are left alone, you know. Just go back to the original Beatles album, listen to it there, because I don't need to hear Paul sing it live again. Too often, heard it too often. Don't need cover versions either. Jet, another song which I'm pretty tired of, really. Been overplayed over the years, but Cheap Trick guys do a decent enough job, and it rocks along. It's okay. Hi 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 from Joe Elliott is a very decent effort of an underrated Wings track. Letting Go, superb version from Heart. Yes, it is with McCartney's band, but because Paul doesn't do this very often. I think he has done it a couple of times in recent years, but very underrated track from Venus and Mars, and they do a great version. 10 out of 10 for that one. Well done, Hart. Steve Miller doing Hey Jude. Don't need to hear another version of Hey Jude by anyone, not even by Paul. Sorry, heard it too often. Stick to the original. Listen to what the man said. One of my favourite Wings tracks, and Owl City do a great version, and they vary the melody slightly, not dramatically like Dr. John tried to do, but just subtly they change the melody a little bit, and it works. Really nice version. Got to Get You Into My Life. Decent enough version. Nothing special, but too similar to Paul's live versions, I think. Drive My Car. Interesting, because they changed the melody, but I think he's singing maybe the harmony part or something, because it sounds just a little bit different from the original, and that's what cover versions should do. They shouldn't just be replicas. And so this is worth checking out. Lady Madonna by Alan Toussaint. Too similar to Paul's recent live versions, really. Not bad. Dr. John, who I've already mentioned, his version of Let Him In starts off okay, but then in the Sister Susie bit, he just goes a little bit strange, and he starts singing a completely different tune, which is not even tuneful. And I don't understand what he's trying to do. He's obviously trying to be different, which is applaudable, but it ends up sounding a bit of a mess. I was playing this one in the car the other day, and my younger son Tommy was not impressed. Smokey Robinson, you'd think this would be a natural choice for him so bad, because it's a song from Pipes of Peace which Paul sang in falsetto, and Smokey Robinson is supposedly the king of falsetto, so here we go. I was disappointed. His voice is kind of shaking a bit. I don't know, maybe he can't sing as well as he used to or something, but I wasn't very impressed. I much prefer Paul's version, and I was surprised because when I saw the track listing in the shop, I thought, oh, that should be interesting. No More Lonely Nights. Nice alternative version, completely different from the original because it's on an acoustic guitar, no piano, no drums, and not many strings, and no Dave Gilmour either. And hats off for making a different version of it. I don't like it tremendously, but it's decent and good effort. Eleanor Rigby, I don't really need to hear that song played by anyone other than the Beatles on Revolver. Alice Cooper sings it. Come and Get It, the song that Paul gave to Badfinger, done in a reggae style by Toots Hibbert with Sly and Robbie. It's quite amusing, but nothing great. On the Way, I thought when I first saw this on the track listing, this was a good choice because it's an obscure track from McCartney 2. It's a really nice track. It's a bluesy track. You think B.B. King could do a good job with it, but on the video to go with the CD, it's pretty evident that he's never heard the song before, and he just goes and does his own thing, and it doesn't bear any relation to the original. But maybe that's how cover versions should be. But in this case, it doesn't work for me. The charm of the original is completely lost, and BB's singing and his guitar playing is okay, but it's just the original tune is just lost. And Birthday is another track which I think is best left alone on the White Album. I don't think anyone's done it justice, not even Paul when he tries to do it live, when he tried in the past. So, bit of a mixed bag really. Probably worth checking out for the highlights. That's Bob. And the DVD is interesting, and I think Ralph Sal has, he's done a commendable job trying to get everyone together and choose tracks. I think they're more successful when they go for the more obscure tracks in the McCartney canon, and when they've tried to do something a little bit different, either in the vocal or in the instrumentation. So I'll recommend it, but with a few caveats, because there's a few stinkers on here, and there's a few songs which really don't need more cover versions. But anyway, that was the Art of McCartney. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe, like and comment, and see you next time.